Hi, folks. It's Jeff Flavin here. And basically, today I'm just going to do a little bit of a live stream and talk about some of the places that I actually went to when I was back in the U.S. Navy. And but first, I'd like to say a hello to everyone out there that's freezing their asses off in the U.S., especially my friends in Texas and upstate New York. That's just going to you guys are well and looking after yourselves. I'm sorry you got to go through that. Mother Nature can be a bitch. And yeah, stay warm, man. Okay, well, we've had a pretty tumultuous start to 2021. Everybody hoping that it was going to be a bit better than 2020, but it seems to be. That's just the way that goes, and hopefully things are going to improve. All right, so tonight what I would like to do is talk to you briefly about two particular places that I was stationed when I was in the U.S. military, the U.S. Navy to be specific. And the first one is of the warmest places that you could ever wish to go to, perhaps a bit too warm. And it is also one of the remotest places on the planet. It is smack dab in the middle of the Indian Ocean, about 500 or so miles south of the equator. And the nearest landmass, I think, was probably Pakistan or something like that. But anyway, I was stationed there back in 1983, and my job was to receive supplies to keep the island going. We would have ships that would come. Hello, farm show. Nice to see you here. And we would receive supplies from the ship, and that was to keep our little island going. And that was everything from food for the mussels and the club that we had there, one of the remotest places on the world. And I did that for about 6 months. And before moving to the fire department on the island, and we'll talk about that when I was working, receiving supplies, they would go from ship to shore via ALC or assault landing craft. In World War II, there would be storming all kinds of different places over in Europe, and the bow would go around these things, and all the boys would go running off and hit the beach. Some would get shot down straight away, and some would actually make it. And yeah, that's the assault landing craft that I'm talking about. Now, we had 6 or 7 of those things. And I'm pretty sure most of those were vintage World War II and Korean War. And one of them, I can't remember its whole number right off the top of my head, but it was haunted, or at least I'm pretty sure it was haunted, because every once a week I would pull security watch, which means you're up all night after working all day, bringing in the stores, and you would have to go out to the docks and take a torch and a flashlight and go down into the engine compartment spaces of each of these assault landing craft and check the bills, make sure you weren't filling up with water, and just basically have a look at some of the gauges and have a good look. And I wish I could remember the whole number. James Shelby, if you're actually watching this, you might remember which whole number I'm talking about. Hello, Free America. Nice to see you. Thank you. And really put the shits up me. I just didn't really want to go down into that engine space. But I would. I had to do it. And I get down there with my clipboard and my light, my pen, and I would write down all the things that I needed to and check the bills. And man, I couldn't wait to get the fuck out. And so I would. I get the fuck out of there as quick as I could. Once I recorded all the information that was meant to. And I don't know ALC, but I imagine, if you sort of if you're sort of one of those people that can feel sort of that strange shit sometimes, maybe they did. Uh, Jim Shelby, I'd like to hear your opinion on this because maybe you felt it too, or anybody else that was over on the island during the time. But yeah, that was a very interesting thing, very scary. But yeah, what can you do? Okay, after about 6 months, I moved to the Diego Garcia Fire Department, and I ran engine number two for a while there. And when I wasn't running engine number two, when another petty officer was there before he got moved to another station, I rode on the back of the fire truck along with three other fellows, and we would a couple of times a day or a couple of times a night have to go to fire calls. And I've never actually seen a proper fire on Diego Garcia. Uh, we went to a couple of accidents where people were hit by some of the trucks that were going down the road because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. And another one was a gas leak, which was I can't remember what kind of gas it was, but there was a bit of a leak. We dealt with it, and it was all good. Tell us about your guitar. All right, my guitar, which you see there in the background, is a 1972 Stratocaster. Now the actual neck is a 1972 Stratocaster. And being that old, by Jeff Beck and Jimi Hendrix, there's no telling. Um, but yeah, it's a great guitar, and the body itself was actually made here in New Zealand from a New Zealand wood which is called kauri, and it's New Zealand hardwood. And basically, I had carte blanche with putting whatever three standard Fender pickups and just standard aftermarket sort of tone pots and stuff like that, and the tremolo system, all chrome, as you can see, because I had an old guitar a long time ago, and I was trying to recreate that, and so yeah, that's basically what I did with that, and I love that guitar. I've had it for quite a few years, and love to play it. It was great. Okay. So anyway, getting back to Diego Garcia, I was in the fire department, and yeah, that was just one of the jobs that I did in the U.S. military. Yep, I am still here in New Zealand, and we are pretty much COVID free at the moment, and they're starting to roll out the vaccines now for all our first responders and essential people. And I'll probably get my jab as soon as I'm able to. But yeah, we're pretty happy here to be pretty much COVID free, and I'm feeling bad for you guys in the States at the moment. But I know you guys are making headway, and your deaths are getting less and less. And I just hope that the vaccine beats us. I am 100% positive about that. So just persevere and do the best you can. Yeah, I know it gets bad sometimes. It gets bad for a lot of people around the world at the moment. And I really feel for you and my brother and my sister that's over there. And y'all are going to get through this. Trust me. Okay. Anyway, I want to talk briefly about the earthquake that happened when I was there on Diego Garcia. Now, it was a 7.9. Now, that's a pretty big fucking quake. And it happened on one of my nights off. And me and a couple of buddies were just sitting up in my hoots and drinking some beer and just listening to some music. And all of a sudden, the place started shaking, and we had an earthquake. And we were on the second floor of a third-story barracks. So we buggered off out of there as quickly as we could and got down to the beach. And we looked back at the barracks, and it was going like this. It was just, it was like a snake in the grass, just like that. And I've never seen anything like it in my life, to be honest with you. That was the first earthquake that I ever went through. Because we were on the beach and the barracks itself was on the beach, we noticed that the sea had completely disappeared. And there was nothing left but a bunch of coral and some fish flopping around on the sands. And we just went, okay, this is not good. There is going to be, the sea is going to come back. And when it does come back, it's probably not going to be a very friendly sea. And so, us being the fire department, which we were, even though it was a night off and we were a bit drunk, we went, okay, we need to get all of these people out of these barracks and up to the chow hall, which is in the center, and got everybody out of there. And we all went en masse up to the chow hall in the center of the island. Maybe more, I don't know. Anyway, nothing really happened that we could tell. And after an hour or so, we all walked back to the barracks and carried on with whatever. But the next day, we found out that there was, in fact, a tsunami, but it had hit another part of the island and wiped out what was known as the Donkey Gate. And that was a gate between us and this other area of the island, which held a bunch of donkeys. And I suppose a few donkeys lost their lives that night, and that's a bit of a shame. But we were able to rebuild the gate, and yeah, life went on after that. So the main reason for us being on Diego's was B-52 bombers and the B-1s. And yeah, it was basically a close place in order to get to the Middle East if we need to do anything fast in the Middle East. Yeah, we did have a tsunami, remember? And yeah, so it was basically just a big airstrip. And I can't speak too much about the missions that were actually performed during that particular time. But yeah, some shit happened. Okay, anyway, after that, that was 1983, and then I went from one of the hottest places in the world, and also one of the remotest places, to one of the coldest places in the world, which was Antarctica. And the U.S. military had a station there called McMurdo Station. And I was stationed there, and I was meant to winter over, which meant 12 to 13 months on the continent. And let me tell you what, if you like cold beer, this was the place to have cold beer because you could actually put a six pack of beer outside for about 2 minutes and bring it in. And it was just this short of freezing. That's of course in the winter. But yeah, it was good fun. Now, when I was in Antarctica, McMurdo Station, again, I was fire department, and we were the only fire department on the entire continent of Antarctica, as far as I know, anyway. And so, if anything happened close by, we were it. There was no one else to back us up. We had to deal with it, and there were like 11 of us. And a few fire trucks, which were basically track vehicles, and we ran foam systems. It wasn't a water system, and yeah, we would cover everything from the C-130s that were landing on the airstrip, which is just an ice runway, and make sure they were okay, to dealing with anything that might happen in McMurdo itself or any of the outlying stations. And now a lot of you people would think, well, it's funny, a fire station in Antarctica. But when you stop and think about all the space heaters, yeah, believe me, a fire department is a pretty necessary thing. Okay, so anyway, my other job down there was running water. I was water distribution for the outlying areas. And so I would have this military 5 ton, which is a huge tanker truck. And I would fill that with water from the main building, which was just down the road from the fire station. And then I would have to spend the entire day going to all these outlying stations, including the National Science Foundation people, and make sure that their water tanks were topped up and that they had fresh water to drink every week, because they did that once a week. Um, and then in my off time, I did a radio show on AFAN McMurdo Station, and my show was called the Fractured Lullaby Show, and I would do that pretty much 5 nights a week when I wasn't actually on duty. And yeah, it was great fun. And again, we were the only radio station on the continent. So we would be listened to by the Russians and the Italians and the Australians and everybody else that had a base down there. They could pick us up on short wave. And okay, so the last thing that I want to talk about, when I was down in Antarctica, was we had a lot of civilians down there. Tracksuit lullaby show? No, fractured lullaby show. Fractured as in broken. And if you ever watched Bullwinkle Blues back in the day, you'll remember fractured lullabies. And that's where I got that name from. So anyway, we had a large civilian population down there. and we would be. I myself did this only once, but you could go to these places and traverse all these crevasses and basically get stuck in with a bit of rope and a bit of carabiners and some stuff on your shoes and just climb up and down these crevasses. And yeah, unfortunately, one of the civilians did something a bit wrong. I'm not too sure. I wasn't actually there um, on the night that happened, but he fell and he died. And it was wintertime. All the flights had stopped, and the next season started when we had the sunlight again, and we could land planes. We're right next to the firehouse, and so they put this poor fellow inside one of those aluminum caskets, and he sat outside the firehouse for about 7 months. And when you were doing the dishes in the kitchen at the firehouse, because everybody had their turn of doing the dishes, the window was right there, and you look out the window, and there was this poor bugger in his aluminum casket right there. And yeah, I felt bad for him. I got used to seeing him after a while. I suppose we all did. But there he was. And on the very first flight that happened many months later, we got that poor guy on the first plane and got him back to his family, pill bottles or jet assisted takeoff. And these were things that we would strap on to the sides of the C-130s that would deliver people and bring people out. And these things went off. It sounded like a rocket taking off, which in fact it was a rocket taking off. And they were pretty mighty. You could hear them. We in the fire department, when we were looking after the planes that were coming and going, would we could hear them. We were like a half a mile away. But even at a half a mile away, these things were deafening. But wow, did they make those C-130s take off fast? And yeah, it was good fun. All right, well, I did lots of other things in the military, but those are just two of the most remote places, and I just wanted to discuss those with you guys. And yeah, it was good fun. The 1980s, that's basically what the 1980s held for me, was my time in the military. All right, folks, thank you all for listening to this and for checking it out. I hope you had fun, and we'll see you again soon. All right, take care. Bye now.